us forward. Decisions unfinished, doors have opened, just in case. That's how old ways survive through hesitations. With delay and delay with wisdom, but postponing a choice lets the past decide for you. Some changes don't ask for time, they ask for resolve, and resolve doesn't announce itself, it stands. Not everything heals slowly. Some things shift when they are cut clean. I no longer bargain with what weakens me. I draw the line and hold it steady. This decision doesn't turn back. This ground charge more every time. Saying later is how cycles disguise themselves. I don't need collapse to change direction. I need respect for who I'm becoming. Clarity doesn't shout, it remains. When the past calls again, this time I don't answer. I no longer bargain with what weakens me. My footing stays firm. This decision doesn't turn back. My steps move forward with intent. What's your key? Intention becomes action. Action becomes form. Form becomes destiny. accepted rules that weren't made for me. That's how direction fades when choice is delegated. Not everything that sounds confident is true. Not every guide deserves trust. I learned my own voice can be trained. Today, stop asking permission to stand in myself. I reclaim authority over my actions. I don't scatter, I don't explain. My decisions stand on their own, even in silence. I am not reaction or borrowed impulse. I am discernment shaped by mistakes. Every boundary I place brings order. Saying no doesn't reduce me. It defines me. Respect begins the moment I stop betraying myself. I reclaim authority over my actions. My focus isn't negotiable. What I choose remains because it rises from within. Tetenyangi, I walk with clarity. My word carries weight. My presence orders the space. I don't need to prove control. I practice it. I don't impose direction. I sustain it. I am centered without rigidity. I am steady without fear. My ground doesn't shift. My movement is constant. When authority is internal, the path doesn't break. There was a time I searched for support outside, as if someone else could carry my weight. That's how dependence, when responsibility is handed over. Trusted routines that promise relief, habits offering comfort without depth. Nothing external can replace the act of staying present. Not every support strength, some only delay standing alright. And I was ready to start leaning on what weakens me. When dependence fades, space appears to choose. Crutches or habits dressed as relief. Clarity isn't numbing, it's freeing. Freedom isn't the absence of limits, it's the presence of awareness. When I take responsibility, dependence dissolves. I withdraw my strength from what controls me. I stand complete. I don't replace one habit with another. I reorganize how I live. In a discipline, not as punishment, but as care. Begins. I am whole without shortcuts. I am steady without false supports. My strength returns to me and stays when dependence falls away. What remains is His presence. was staying when I used to leave. Consistency doesn't announce itself, but it reshapes everything. Days arrive without confirmation. That's where everything is decided, in what's held without witnesses. Not all growth feels powerful. Some of it simply orders a life, and that order over time becomes strength. I don't need immediate results, I need coherence between thought and action. I continue even when nothing reacts. I continue without promises. Every day I hold my focus steady, moves me closer without noise. Days I wanted to abandon the process, not because it was hard, but because it was slow. That's when I understood discipline is a form of self-respect. I don't chase constant motivation, I build clear habits. Motivation shifts, consistency remains. Today I don't look for shortcuts. My attention is decided. I continue even when nothing reacts. I remain intentional. What I repeat with awareness eventually reshapes me. Will we take quiet courage, not to impress, but to endure? Every step carried a cost and a lesson. Nothing I lived was wasted if I can stand whole now. I release versions of myself that could no longer walk with me, not from rejection, but from alignment. Growth knows when something ends. I don't need to prove anything anymore. The path already speaks. What once confused me now arranges itself. I'm not rushing forward, I move because I'm ready. Here I stand, whole and steady. Here I stand, undivided. Everything learned aligns, everything chosen remains. I don't deny who I was, I integrate it. I don't carry errors forward, I turn them into discernment. I walk with what is essential and leave the rest behind. I know who I am when no one watches. I know what holds when the world shifts. My direction isn't shaped by noise, it's shaped by alignment. When everything settles inside, the outside loses its power to confuse. Here I stand, whole and steady. Here I stand, without fracture. Nothing pulls me backward now. My presence sustains my movement. Mitakuya uyarsin, I walk in right relation with my actions, my time, myself. I don't need external force, I am alive. I don't need future promises, I am present. The cycle of repetition ends here. Stability begins now. Unstoppable isn't moving without fear, it's moving with clarity. Unstoppable is holding what you choose day after day without betrayal. is set, the decision is held. Now there is only the walk forward.